business cycle. Okay, so at this point, which of the following is the best? At this point, which of the following is best? You have three options. Exactly. Why? Because you are at the peak. The only direction is down, right? Okay, so stock market gonna go down. The whole economy gonna go down, right? And so if you buy stocks or you buy bonds, you are in trouble. Because no matter what, it will gonna go down, right? And so at this point, okay, what should be a better option? Wang Peizhen, when the economy is going down for a while, what would be a better option? Stocks? Are you sure? Han Ziyuan, when the economy is down for a while, what is a better choice for your investment? Which one? Bonds. Why? Why bonds is better now? Lower level. So, Huang Yufeng, why bonds is a better option? More than that. Chen Caijin, why bonds is a better option? Zhu Gongyan, why at that point bonds will be a better option? Okay, when the economy is going down, right, there are going to be more unemployment, right? More people out of jobs, okay? And the situation for everyone going to be more difficult. So at this point, what would the central bank do? Zhu Guangyan, what would the central bank do? Chen Yuxiang, what would the central bank do? When the economy is going down for a while, right? So everyone gonna be feeling the difficulties in their lives, right? So what would the central bank do? When the economy is not good, what would the central bank do? Xu Jiazhen, what would the central bank do? Generally. Right. Okay, if interest rate goes down, right? What happened to bond price? Xu Jiazhen? Up. Okay? So why? At this point, right, when the economy is going down, companies' profit will go down, right? And because companies' profit is going down, their credit, okay, their credit will not be good, because if your company suffer, right, your credit is not good. It means your income going to go down. So actually, you have to, the probability that you will not be able to pay back your loan will go up. And so at this point, nothing is good. So cash is king. That's the best. But after the economy is going down for a while, what happened? The central bank will do something, right? And what is that something they're going to do? Decrease the interest rate, right? Encourage people to consume and encourage companies to invest. And because bond price, okay, it is set up in a contract, okay? And if interest rate goes down, it means that, okay, bond price will go up. And at this point, right? So generally, around this corner, you need to change your bond into stocks, okay? And then when the economy is going up, what happened? The profits will go up. So stock will benefit from this direction because company profit goes up, EPS goes up, so the stock price will go up. And then this cycle will repeat itself again. But the point is, it is very hard to know what's going on in terms of the economy. So even though you know this is the portfolio to deal with business cycle, but there's no way to tell when you're gonna do whatever, okay? Because if the economy is in recession, it has to be the GDP goes down for consecutively 2 quarters. And 2 quarters is 6 months, right? It's a long time. And how are you gonna tell, the other factors, affecting the economy? And so because of that, it's very hard, okay, to tell what is the situation of the economy. That is one of the reasons that, no one can deal with all these, okay? So, but there's one person that, we say it is a god, okay, in stock market. Buffett, right? Warren Buffett. I'm not sure. There's another word called buffet. That's for all you can eat dinner, right, or lunch. But I think this is the way. Not sure. Anyway, his name is not easy to spell. Okay. Anyway, and also when you have business cycles, then you have the situation, you're gonna say inflation and unemployment, right? And there's a term called misery index. Okay, so what is misery index? 郑彩进. 4 words. Misery index. 4 words. What is that? What's index? Exactly. Misery index. 2 words. Very painful. Exactly. So this misery index includes 2 variables. What are they? Inflation and also exactly, okay. But as I've told you, right, actually deflation gonna make you more miserable than inflation. So this misery index is not a very good one, okay, because you only consider this part, okay? But what about this part? No, okay. And then for all these, we get to a curve that deal with the relationship between inflation and unemployment. Okay, 林伟轩, there is a curve deal with unemployment and inflation. What is that curve? Okay, exactly. Phillips curve. So here is unemployment, and here is inflation. Generally, it looks like this, right? That's in the short term. What about in the long term? In the long term. Excuse me? Vertical, exactly, good. Okay? But when there's a stagflation, okay, stagflation. What is stagflation? It means the economy is not good, and also there's inflation. So this is for the short term, right? And this is for the long term. But when there's a stagflation, what happens to the Phillips curve? Exactly. So it's something like this. Why? Because you have aggregate demand, aggregate supply. Here is Y, and here is P, right? And you have aggregate supply like this, and aggregate demand like this. Okay, suppose something happened to the aggregate supply curve. Okay, it shifts to the left. If shift to the left, what happened? You see, price go up and Y goes down. Okay, but so here you have inflation going up and the economy going down. Okay, so it means unemployment going up. So it will be like that. Okay. So at this point, the next is money market. Okay. And then the question is, what is money, right? So, Fengjie, what kind of money do we have? We have M, right, exactly. So M1A, and then M1B, and then M2, right? So this will be in a test, okay? And also we have money multiplier, right? Money multiplier. So when we talk about Keynes, we have expenditure multiplier. And when we talk about the money market, we have money multiplier. And the reason we have money multiplier is because the bank use fractional reserve. Fractional reserve. So if we don't have fractional reserve, so for example, if we deposit money into the bank and the bank has to get 100% of the money in the bank, then there is no way to loan the money out. And so at that point, okay, there is just simply no money multiplier. And the reason we have money multiplier is because we have fractional reserve, and usually that is quite low. And so when you get to the job market, okay, and let us say you work at a securities industry, okay, you invest in stocks. Usually you have to pay attention to this one, okay? When M2 is going up, generally that means good news for the stock market, okay? Because there's more money out there, and it's going to be, more money, right? It means there could be more demand for stocks, and so usually the stock market will go up. And then this is the another question we haven't talked about before. So when NT appreciates, okay, what happened to the stock market? Huang Yufeng, if new Taiwan dollar appreciate, what will happen to the stock market? go down. Okay? So the stock market why?
Because
Cost? What kind of cost? $90 If new Taiwan dollar appreciate, increase in value, what happened to the stock market? Okay, so the reason?
因为投资人预期上那个公司的利润会下降。
Exactly. But if you read newspaper, usually they get the opposite conclusion. Why? In people's mind, usually the fluctuation in the foreign exchange market tells the movement of foreign company. Or we say foreign investors. Honestly, the foreign investors, they are not the major part of the players in the stock market. But because they have a more ambitious in their endeavor. For example, if they want to make money, okay, or they have something they like, they usually bid a very high price of it, okay, in terms of their strategy. And if they don't like something, they dump it, okay? They cut it in a very dramatic way, okay? So they purchase, if they really like it, they bid it at a high price, and if they don't like it, they dump it. So because of that, the way they join the market, so basically the market up and down is much higher than domestic investors. And when NT goes up, the interpretation is that these foreign investors, they get money to Taiwan, okay? When they get money in Taiwan, usually you believe they're gonna invest in the stock market, okay? But this time, it is different, okay? But let me tell you the way market interpret it. So when NT goes up, people would believe it is because all these guys get money in. And when they get money in, it is to invest in stock market. So a lot of times when you see NT goes up, okay, the market interprets it as all these guys are in movement. They join the stock market. And because of it, so some people say when NT goes up, it is a signal to buy stocks because these foreign investors get money to Taiwan, okay? When they get a lot of money in Taiwan, foreign exchange supply goes up, okay? And then foreign exchange, say US dollar, right, goes down and NT goes up, okay? So this is the way the market interprets it. But the Boyan said is the right one from theory, okay? Because when NT goes up, as we know the recent example, right? TSMC lost $80 billion NT, okay? Just because the NT appreciate. So Let us say they make billion US dollars. Okay? You know, at the beginning of this year, 1 US dollar is equal to 32 NT. Okay? And what about now? Now it is equal to 29.9. Something around there. Okay? What does that mean? When TSMC makes this much money, okay, at this exchange rate, okay, at this exchange rate, what are they gonna get? They're gonna get 3,200 billion NT, right? But now, because NT appreciate, right? How much is that now? So as you can see, right, quite clearly, the profit of TSMC is going down rather than up, right? And so many companies of Taiwan, they are for exports. That means their revenue gonna go down. Okay, so from theory, okay, from theory, economic theory, if NT appreciates, the stock market should going down because their value, their profits, whatever, all go down. But if you read newspaper, okay, if you read newspaper, a lot of interpretation is different, okay? Because these aggressive investors, okay, these aggressive investors, when they get money in, they're gonna pump in stock market, okay? And that should be a signal for you to go into the stock market. But recently, what happened? These foreign investors get money to Taiwan. Do they invest in the stock market? The answer is no. And so Central Bank of Taiwan make a phone call to all these guys. If you are not investing in the stock market, you'll be in trouble. But does it work? I doubt it. So, you know, in any case, if you're gonna invest in the stock market, there's a chance you're gonna lose money, right? But if they send money to Taiwan, and then because of that, NT appreciate, right? They don't do anything. They make $2. That's a 6% profit, right? If they don't do anything, that's 6% profit. Why not? Okay, so anyway, a lot of things about what's going on in the market. So, you know, when you or anyone, okay, if you graduate and get a job in the financial sector, you got to be very careful because what you read in the newspaper does not reflect the economic reasoning, okay? Because, so sometimes we call this rumor, okay? And that's not true, right? So when NT goes up, market will go up? No, it never works that way. But you can see a lot of people interpret all those things in that manner. Okay? And then when we talk about money market, we have money supply and money demand. Okay, money supply. So this is real money balance, and this is interest rate. So MSMD. Okay. So why do we demand money? Why do we need money? 公司云, why do we need money? We have 3 types of money demand. Exactly, transactional demand. Speculative, yes, and the other one precautionary, okay? And there is a special case here, right? A special case, very special case, it is like this. So this part, will be horizontal. So what is that? 陈佑熙, what is this section called? 5 words. No. One page. Exactly. So what's the situation here? But why? Okay, at this point, the interest rate is already very low. And so people don't expect the interest rate to go down, but up, right? And if interest rate will go up, okay, that's what people expect because the interest rate is already too low. What will happen to the bond price? The bond price will go down. And so because of that, the speculative demand for the bond is gone, okay? And so because of that, people will not buy bonds. And so if money supply goes up, generally you have extra money balance. But because people worry about the interest rate may go up, so they don't go out to buy the bond. So because of that, the bond yield will not go down. So this is what we call liquidity trap, okay? And then from here, we can relate interest rate and income by ISLM curve. So we have Y here, and here is R, and here is, sorry, 刘佳姐, what is this? You have 2 curves, right? What is this? No, it's not supply demand, no. What is this? This is IS curve and this is N curve, right? And very simple. Under what kind of circumstances IS will shift to the right? Liu Jiajie. In what situation will IS shift to the right? Money demand. Next week gonna be final. You know, okay, good. IS